Just going to talk a little bit about how this deck was framed and how this decking could have been done better. By the way, if we haven't met, I'm Ryan from decksbye3.com. You should check it out. It's a good blog about how to build better decks, but more importantly, how to enjoy your deck with less maintenance. But we have our obviously wood decking here that needs to be replaced. This is like 5/4 by 4.5 or something like that. The smaller boards, generally they're a little bit larger. But if you see, they've started to dry out and crack, and without pretty much yearly maintenance, this is just going to happen. It's wood, it needs to be protected, and if you don't do it. But one thing I'm really surprised about this deck, if you look down here, we have this big ugly tapered strip in the front of the deck here, and it just doesn't look nice at all. You have a few options here. Like, this can be avoided. One, when I ran my tape here, and this kind of blew my mind, but it happens. We all make mistakes as we're doing things, especially when we're just learning. Our deck here is 159 inches deep. If you go over that corner, it's 154. Somewhere a mistake happened. I don't know, or maybe it was an intentional modification. But here it just looks ugly this way. So that is why when I'm building my decks, I like to run my joist wild, patch them to the ledger, snap my line here, triple check to make sure my line is correct and square to the house, then cut my joists, because then I know they're all the right size and I'm gonna have a nice little thing here. Second of all, I always love to start my decking on the outside of the deck and then work towards the house. In this situation, because it's an extreme, we have 4 or 5 inches of difference, it's not going to matter. You can't hide that. But your gap in between your boards, even on a 1/16 of an inch, so every 16 boards you can add an inch or take off an inch, and that's going to happen. It easily can catch you if you don't constantly snap a new correction line and recorrect them. You could end up having a difference just with the decking of 1.5 inches or maybe 2 inches. But if you start with your first board here and work your way towards the house here, this is an ideal one because we're missing our deck flash in here. But if we had our deck flash in here, then you could hide that tapered piece beside the house underneath the deck flashing. So hiding the ugly side, protecting it with the deck flashing, and it's just not as noticeable right here along the house. There's very few people look that much here as it is right over here beside the decking, where it's just an eyesore every time you walk up on your deck.